Hi, I'm Julia and this is my shed. So we're back on the Britannia today. And no prizes for guessing that we're going to start working on the right hand side valve gear. The first part of that job will be to assemble the way shaft bracket, which we've got from Model Engineer's Laser. So we'll get that on the bench, I think, and we'll start working on that. So this is the sort of thing we're trying to make. I've got the drawing from Model Engineer's Laser, and this one actually has not one but two bends in it, so that's going to be fun to make. So last time when I made the bends, I used a slitting saw. In fact, actually they're not 90-degree bends. I think it's this shape we've got to make. So that'll be interesting. Slightly more complex part. We will use the same basic technique we used before, which is basically to cut all these parts off this, clean up the tabs so they fit in the required spot. I've got a few holes I just need to punch out by the looks of it. Once we've done that, we've got to do some bending, so that will require some machining of this part. So I'm not going to waffle for ages. We'll just get you on time lapse and try and get this taken apart. Okay, so we've done a bit of fettling, deburring, whatever. I just started to mock it up, so I'm just going to take that off for a second. So this piece here needs to be bent at this point so that these tabs go into these slots, and then it needs to be bent again. So that's the first thing. And then so basically that edge will meet up with here to make a triangle shape. So the other issue we've got at the moment is that because this is at an angle, we need to angle these two slots. So we've got a bit of we've got a bit of filing to do just to make these slots sort of so they're straight in this direction rather than straight in that direction. So I think I'll do that next. So with judicious use of the Dremel, I've angled these two slots, so this now fits in. I think what I need to now do is angle these end plates a bit, so that fits a bit tighter, otherwise we've got a huge gap here, which doesn't look right. So yeah, I think the next thing to do is to get the files on these and just get this angle correct all the way down. So probably out with the bastard file, I think. Okay, so we've got this angle nicely in. I've also adjusted this slightly so this goes on. Obviously we'll need to remove these later on, but possibly after welding or brazing. So yeah, quite pleased with that. So we've got to make these fit in here next with the side bits, so I'll do that. I've got all these fitting now ready to be welded on, so I'll just put a tack on each tab. Once these are welded, I can just file the bottom of this parallel or level with this area, which is what I did last time. That worked quite well. So time to get the welder out, which is always exciting. So we'll get that done. So that's these welded up. I did try reducing the current right down to 30. I still managed to round the corners off a little bit, but I'll probably get the file on those and round them anyway, so no big deal. Yeah, just so you can see that this sort of looks a little bit odd, so I might have to file that flat or something so it sort of blends in better. So here we're transferring the holes from the spacer to the mounting plate. And here is a slightly sketchy setup with the slitting saw, so we can bend this plate. So we've cut some slots with the slitting saw, about roughly halfway. I think that's what I did last time. And now we'll try and bend them so that that goes in there. So that's the first bend done. That's gone quite successfully. As you can see, I've had to shorten the tab on this end by about that much, a couple of mil. Just need to clean it up a bit. It's not quite sitting. But so the next thing to do is bend this piece now so it's so it sits in vertically here. I'm just wondering whether to actually do that with it in situ. I think I will. Okay, so that's all nicely shaped up now. I'm not sure whether to take a bit off these tabs or just weld them and then perhaps mill them flat afterwards. Still thinking about that. So I've got to weld this in first, so we'll do that, and then we can assemble it for good. So I ran out of argon for the TIG welder, so I've used my MIG welder and just put a load of tacks on. I'm still getting the hang of using this new TIG welder. This is the bottom. Obviously the welds are way too big, but you know, I've sort of filled in these bits which were looking a bit rubbish, so I'm quite pleased that I've done those. So I think once it's all cleaned up, it won't look quite so bad. I mean, it's looking a bit awful at the moment, but we should have some decent penetration there. This is the bottom, so you're not going to see that. So that's the side you're going to see, so we need to machine off all this mess and then see what it looks like. I'm almost certainly going to add some silver solder on this top V, and possibly down here as well, just because that's what you're going to see. But apart from that, that should be strong enough now. It's very hot, so we'll let it cool down. So after quite a lot of cleaning up, obviously MIG welding's leaves a lot less to be desired, really. We're pretty much there on this. Needs a little bit of final finishing with the files, but I'd like to get some silver solder in this join, and to be honest, this one looks all right now. So maybe just around this bottom edge as well, because that's what you're going to see. But overall, it's not too bad. I've managed to sort of smooth this off a little bit. You could do with a little bit of filler on it, but it's pretty solid. It's not pretty. This is the bottom, so you won't see that anyway, but I might just clean these up a little bit more. But yeah, not too bad, I don't think. So what I'm going to need to do next is re-drill these two holes. So unfortunately, I can't use this hole because it's not lined up, so I can use this hole, sort of, but even that's blocked up actually. So yeah, so I need to re-drill all these holes. But my basic idea is to cut the head off the bolts and then just either silver solder or weld them in as studs, and then we'll have to put nuts on the other end. So that's the idea with that, and we'll need to connect this spacer somehow permanently as well. I think we're warped a bit at the moment, so I may need to do something there. So I want to weld these two together. So what I've done is I've chamfered them a bit, because we're getting quite a lot of quite a thick bead with this new welder. I've put these stainless studs in, and the ends are just visible. So what I'm going to do is just try and tack onto the ends of the studs as well. Hopefully that will do the trick, and then we'll put a line of weld on here as quickly as we can. Yeah, so let's see how we get on with that. Hopefully that's strong enough then to hold these studs in place, and I can put nuts on the other side. So that's the finished bracket. This will lift up, so it should be fairly central. Just needs a teeny bit of filler. I'll probably just put a fillet in this end piece just to cover up those welds. Yeah, so not as neat as using TIG, but it's got there, and the studs are working really well. Might be difficult to get the nut on the bottom one, but that's a problem for future Julia. So I've got a couple of pieces of silver solder on the bracket. There's one at the bottom there just to fill in those gaps. I will try and get some on that corner as well, but I'll just have to do that manually. So yeah, let's get the burner on and see what we can do. So unfortunately I didn't I didn't press record, but what you can see is we've got really good flow down this side here, down this side, and I've got some on there. Some of it's flowed off, but filled in the gap. It just makes it look a bit nicer, and yeah, quite pleased with it. So yeah, hopefully you can see, got really nice flow. It always flows better if you can get the heat to the rear of the joint. I put a lot of heat into this bottom plate, so that's worked quite well. So it's drawn the silver solder through. So all good stuff. So I've just smoothed over some areas with the rapid set epoxy. Hopefully you can see what I've done there. There's a bit underneath as well, I can show you once it's dry. Yeah, that just takes away the worst of it really. We get a sort of quite nice fillet there, so it looks a bit more like a casting. I've filled in a couple of dings there on the top. So it should look quite good now, I think. So we're tapping the bracket now for the bush screws there, M2.5. So I'm just gonna spot with the clearance drill, and then drill through with a 2mm tapping drill. So I hope you enjoyed that. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.